We live from New Delhi. You're watching TT India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. India to host a 7th meeting of the Colombo Security Conclave in New Delhi. National security advisors from 6 nations across the Indian Ocean region to discuss key regional security issues. Nitish Kumar to take oath as Chief Minister of Eastern Indian state of Bihar for a record 10th time in presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Ukraine's President Zelensky to hold talks with senior US military officials in Kyiv. Talks focus on efforts to end a more than 3.5 years old Russia-Ukraine conflict. The 56th International Film Festival of India, IFFI, to begin in Goa. Over 240 films from 81 countries to be showcased in the 9-day-long extravaganza. And Indian shooters continue to shine at the 25th Deaflympics in Tokyo. Abhinav, Deshwal and Pranjali, Prashant, Dhumal clinches gold in the 10-meter air pistol mixed event, taking the medal tally to 11. And on to the details now. India is hosting the 7th meeting of the Colombo Security Conclave National Security Advisors in New Delhi today, bringing together key regional partners to strengthen security cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. Now, the National Security Advisor, Doordarshan, will chair the discussions with his counterparts from Maldives, Mauritius, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Seychelles will join as an observer, while Malaysia participates as a special guest. Now, the conclave focuses on cooperation across key pillars: maritime security, counter-terrorism, cybersecurity, transnational crime and disaster relief. Also, the meeting will review progress and outline the action plan and roadmap for 2026. The previous NSA meeting took place in Mauritius in 2023, followed by the signing of its founding documents in Sri Lanka in 2024. Well, the deputy NSAs have also held regular round of talks, most recently online in July last year. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Johannesburg, South Africa from 21st to 23rd of November to attend the 20th G20 Leaders Summit. This will be the 4th consecutive G20 summit held in the Global South. On the margins of the summit, the Prime Minister is expected to hold meetings with some world leaders. The Prime Minister will also be taking part in the India-Brazil-South Africa Leaders Meeting being hosted by South Africa. Well, India has expanded its visa on arrival facility for UAE nationals to include Cochin, Calicut and Ahmedabad international airports, adding to the existing centres in New Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad and Kochi. With this move, UAE citizens now have access to visa on arrival at 9 major entry points across India. The facility is available exclusively to UAE nationals who have previously obtained an Indian e-visa or a regular paper visa. Now, the travellers are required to fill out the VOA application along with a disembarkation card. UAE citizens arriving in India under this scheme may stay for up to 60 days. The visa allows double entry within the 60-day period. The VOA facility is not available to any UAE national whose parents or grandparents were born in or are permanent residents of Pakistan. Now, such travellers must apply for an appropriate visa. The fee for visa on arrival remains 2,000 rupees or the equivalent in foreign currency for each passenger, including children. And Australia's Foreign Minister, Senator Penny Wong, will hold talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Thursday. This will be the 26th meeting between the two leaders. Both countries are expected to enhance cooperation across cyber and strategic technology, trade, maritime security and defence, among other areas. Now, the visiting Foreign Minister, along with Dr. S. Jaishankar, will also co-chair the 16th Foreign Ministers Framework Dialogue. The high-level meeting marks a significant step in advancing the India-Australia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. And Secretary West and JCB George co-chaired the 6th India-EU Strategic Partnership Review meeting with Olivia Bailey, Acting Deputy Secretary General for Economic and Global Issues at the European External Action Service. The discussions covered the full spectrum of the India-EU strategic partnership, progress on a new joint comprehensive strategic agenda, and preparations for the upcoming India-EU summit. And moving on, Nitish Kumar will take oath as the Chief Minister of Bihar for a record 10th time today. That's on Thursday. Several key dignitaries, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, BJP National President JP Nadda and other key NDA allies will attend the swearing-in ceremony at the historic Gandhi Maidan in Patna. Also, Nitish staked claim to form the next government after being elected the leader of the NDA Legislative Party in Bihar on Wednesday, with Samrat Chaudhary being chosen as the leader of the BJP Legislative Party and Vijay Kumar Sinha elected as his deputy. The NDA registered a landslide victory in Bihar, winning 202 out of 243 seats, dealing a huge blow to the opposition alliance. And for more on the swearing-in, we have our colleague Amit Mukherjee joining us. Well, Amit, Nitish Kumar to take oath as Bihar's Chief Minister today. Could you also give us the details pertaining to the crucial cabinet formation and who else are likely to take oath along with the Chief Minister?
Well, Lipakshi, that's right. I mean, people and guests who will be gathering at the Gandhi Maidan, the historic and iconic Gandhi Maidan of Patna, are expected to witness a splendid, in fact, a spectacular ceremony today as, Nitish Kumar takes oath again. And this time also along with him, there will be many faces who will be taking oath as the next ministers of Bihar. Now, while Samrat Chaudhary and Vijay Kumar Sinha are set to be the deputy CMs, there are expected a list of another 20 people who will be inducted into the newly formed cabinet of the NDA-led government, NDA alliance government. And you see, I mean, Bihar has a total strength of about 36 ministers in the cabinet. But as of now, we are looking at about 23. So that leaves a scope for another 13 to 14 more. Again, till last night, there have been deliberations because, the numbers compared to last time, if you look at last time, BJP backed about 80 seats and JDU was at 43. And other parties, in fact, another party that needs to be looked at, as far as the cabinet formation is concerned is LJP, Chirag Paswan's LJP. Now, that party has also backed about 19 seats. So what sort of berth allocation Chirag's party gets is also something that everybody is closely watching. So till last night, negotiations were on. And more negotiations are expected in the coming days, because as I told you, I mean, there's a scope of another 14 ministers that still remains, who will be inducted as we go ahead in the formation of Bihar, the new Bihar government is concerned. Right. Lipakshi?
Also, Amit, with the Prime Minister Modi himself and Amit Shah and other leaders attending the swearing-in, tell us more about the ceremony today.
You see, I mean, apart from Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Rajnath Singh and Amit Shah ji, who are expected to, join the swearing-in ceremony, Nitish Kumar has also extended, invitations to the NDA-led government in other states as well. And Chandrababu Naidu, Eknath Shinde are also expected to be a part of the gathering, as the grand ceremony begins at 11:30 at Gandhi Maidan today in Patna. Lipakshi?
All right, Amit, thank you so much for all those details, and we'll keep taking more as the day progresses. Still to come on DD India Newshour. Bangladesh Supreme Court to deliver verdict on the caretaker government system today. Gujarat busts a cyber slavery mastermind operating across Southeast Asian countries. And Turkey will host next year's UN Climate Summit while Australia will lead negotiations.
India did not agree that Hindus and Muslims could not live together. This was a birth of a country or two countries, but it was a birth that was also an abortion, because you were literally killing this country that was being born at that point. Every time a Muslim came to prominence in India, President of India, Chief Justice of India, cricket captains, whatever, it was a standing rebuke of the very Pakistani idea. If a Muslim could achieve all this in India, then why did Pakistan need to be created?
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar.
Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, India's Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Bhupendra Yadav, met with Cuba's Minister of Science, Technology and Environment, Dr. C. Armando Rodriguez Batista, on the sidelines of COP30 in Belém today. In a social media post, Yadav said their discussions involved matters related to potential collaboration in the area of renewable energy. Now, Cuba, as a member of like-minded developing countries, is also a signatory of CDRI and ISA, where India has provided technical expertise through ISA for solar project development and implementation in Cuba. We held talks on furthering collaboration through these patterns, he said. Well, Bhupendra Yadav also held a meeting with China's Special Envoy for Climate Change, Liu Zhenmin, in Belém. The discussions involved matters related to coordination between like-minded developing countries in the ongoing development in COP30, with particular focus on maintaining the integrity of the Paris Agreement. And Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva held a press conference on Wednesday at COP30 after meeting negotiators pushing for early agreements on contentious issues like fossil fuels and climate finance. Lula said he was confident his team would secure strong outcomes before he returned to Brasilia. Environment Minister Marina Silva announced Germany's pledge of €1 billion to Brazil's Forest Fund, part of the new Tropical Forest Forever facility. Now, despite Brazil's aim for timely deals, delays in releasing updated negotiating text have already emerged.
I leave to Brasilia certain that my negotiators will achieve the best result that a COP can never offer to planet Earth.
Well, Turkey will host the next year's UN Climate Summit, while Australia will lead negotiations under a compromise taking shape in Brazil, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said on Thursday. Now, the COP meetings are the world's central forum for climate action, and the agreement would end a long dispute after both nations bid to host COP31 in 2022 and refused to withdraw. Now, under the emerging plan, Turkey would serve as summit president. Australia would oversee negotiations, and a pre-COP event will be held in the Pacific. Albanese called the arrangement a win for both sides, though talks continue. Now, Australia promoted a Pacific COP and spent $7 million preparing, while Turkey, as an emerging economy, says it aims to stress global solidarity over regional concerns.
We're very pleased with the outcome. Turkey will host the conference, but Australia, by having the COP presidency for negotiations, will be in a very strong position, and some might argue in the strongest possible position, because we will benefit from having Pacific issues and the issues confronting Australia that we know Australia is particularly vulnerable for the extreme weather events which we are seeing more intense and more frequent.
And moving on now to some news from Bangladesh. The Supreme Court of Bangladesh is set to deliver its verdict on the appeals over the caretaker government system on Thursday. Now, earlier on November 11th, a 7-member bench of the Bangladesh Apex Court, headed by Chief Justice Syed Rifat Ahmed, concluded the hearing and fixed November 20th for delivering the verdict on the appeals and review petitions. During the hearing, the lawyers for the appellants, petitioners and the state prayed to the top court to overturn its 2011 judgment and restore the non-party caretaker government system to the constitution for holding free and fair elections and to establish democracy in the country. Following the 2011 verdict, Parliament passed the 15th Amendment, formally abolishing the caretaker arrangement. Now, the decision is significant as it could potentially restore the non-party caretaker government system for national elections, which was abolished more than a decade ago. And for more, we have Naval Singh Parmar joining us from Dhaka on the phone line. Well, Naval Singh, as the Supreme Court of Bangladesh is set to deliver its verdict on the appeals over the caretaker government system, what reactions are expected depending on whether the 2011 judgment is upheld or overturned?
Well, most probably the judgment of 2011 will be overturned. Actually, I would like to bring here the timeline of the caretaker government system here in Bangladesh.
Right.
It was in March 26, 1996, 13th Amendment was brought and that affected the caretaker government system in Bangladesh. And then after only, in 1996, June 12, Sheikh Hasina became Prime Minister of Bangladesh for the first time after winning the 1996 election. So after she became Prime Minister, and in 2009 again she became Prime Minister of Bangladesh for the second time under the new caretaker government system only. Then in 2011, when she was Prime Minister, at that time some petitioner challenged the amendment to the Constitution of Bangladesh regarding the caretaker government system, and based on that, in 2011 judgment came where the caretaker government system abolished. And it was in last 2 election, opposition party were demanding from the Awami League government that the provision of caretaker government should be restored and then only election should be conducted. And that is why BNP and some other political party abstained from the take part in the election process. And that was the blame against the Sheikh Hasina government that it was a election without the opposition. So now it is very likely that BNP and Jamaat have very much influence on the Bangladesh political system that caretaker government system provision may reinstalled in Bangladesh.
All right. Also, Naval Singh, what are the possible political and electoral implications if the Supreme Court decides to restore the non-party caretaker government system in Bangladesh?
If the caretaker government system restored, then there will be the non-partisan government, non-political party government. It will be termed as a national government. From the all political party or the people of intellectual class will be given responsibility to conduct an election. It is an election time government. In a country like Bangladesh, where it is very easy to control the state machinery and misuse for the ruling party for its own benefit, and that is allegation in every election opposition used to blame. So if the neutral caretaker government system is there, then there will be no blame. And it happened in past 2 times on 2 occasions, and during that Sheikh Hasina herself won the election. And one time BNP won the election. So if it is there, then it will be in the interest of the democracy in the South Asian region that if there is a caretaker government system, and it is the view of the analysts that the caretaker government system should be there.
All right. Thank you so much for all those details and information. And moving on, the 56th International Film Festival of India will kick-start on the 20th of November with a grand opening parade. DD India's Deepika gets us an exclusive report from Goa on how it is gearing up for the mega event.
The only film festival in South Asia accredited by International Federation of Film Producers Associations is all set to witness its yet another dynamic edition in Goa. Jointly organized each year by National Film Development Corporation, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India and the Entertainment Society of Goa, along with the Government of Goa, IFFI aims to bring together the world of cinema under one roof. This year will be even more special with a different and grand opening parade that will witness vibrant floats, cultural performances and a spectacular procession led by cultural troupes, production houses and the state government. Apart from that, the parade will also witness the felicitation of noted actor N. Balakrishna for his remarkable contribution to the Indian cinema. The 9-day cinematic extravaganza will feature 240 films from 81 countries. Japan remains the country of focus, whereas Spain is the partner country and Australia as the spotlight country. These are leading this year's international collaborations. Key highlights include restored classics, centenary tributes and curated global sections. Expanded Waves Film Bazaar provides a platform of creative exchange under a single roof. IFFI 2025 will also witness IFFI for seamless entertainment. The debut Cinema AI Hackathon, hosted by the Waves Film Bazaar in partnership with the National Film Development Corporation. Now, along with this, masterclasses, panels and knowledge series will also take place. The Creative Minds of Tomorrow, or the CMOT program, with 799 entries this year and 124 selected participants, represents 13 filmmaking crafts. Indian Panorama and New Horizons is also to watch out for, along with women, their debut voices and emerging talent. Interestingly, IFFI 2025 will also honor legendary actor Rajnikant for completing 50 years in cinema, marking a milestone that celebrates the closing ceremony. First ever parade with cultural floats and the participation of production houses, IFFI Creative Minds of Tomorrow, Waves Film Bazaar, This and a lot more is all set to begin at the 56th edition of International Film Festival of India here in Goa. We'll keep updating you with all the latest with our special broadcast on DD India. So stay tuned with us. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from IFFI, Goa.
All right, and for more on the event today, we have Deepika Mehto joining us from Goa. Well, Deepika, grand opening parade today. Tell us how Goa is gearing up for the mega event. What major attractions or new elements can audiences expect at the opening parade as the 56th IFFI kicks off?
Good morning, Dipakshi. As you said, this is the 56th edition, and as we said in the report that we'll keep bringing you all the live updates. So today we are here at the center of Goa. From there, the parade will kickstart. Now, this is a 4 to 5 kilometers long parade, and this is happening for the first time. So, for the first time ever, the 56th edition of International Film Festival of India is kicking off in style with an opening parade instead of an opening ceremony. Now, why is it special? Because there will be different cultural floats. Different states will also be represented through this cultural floats. These include Goa along with Andhra Pradesh. Apart from that, several high-profile film production houses are participating in today's opening parade. And apart from that, the day will also witness the opening film. And there will be other events lined up throughout the day as today officially kickstarts the first day of the 56th edition of IFFI. So, Minister of State Dr. L. Murugan will also be attending the opening parade ceremony. Apart from that, there will be the Chief Minister of Goa, Pramod Sawant, who would also be present at the opening parade. And there will be different people, different guests who will be attending this opening ceremony. Apart from that, what is more different is that renowned actor who's famous for his art, for his films in Telugu, N. Balakrishna is also going to be honored at the opening parade, marking the tribute to the Indian cinema, especially in Telugu.
All right. Also, Deepika, how is Goa preparing logistically and culturally to host this year's festival, especially with the expected influx of international delegates and filmmakers also?
Right, Lipakshi, there are more than 80 countries who are participating in International Film Festival of India. More than 80 countries have sent their films also to feature, to premiere here at the 56th edition of IFFI. So when we talk about the sort of international delegation we are going to have at International Film Festival of India, the NFDC, along with Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and the Entertainment Society of Goa, along with the state government of Goa, have made provisions to welcome all the international delegates here in Goa. And also there will be cultural art, cultural ethos that will be very much vibrantly on display, along with culinary for all the guests. And special arrangements have been made for them at the Inox venue of Goa, where the event will be taking place. And right behind me is the Kala Academy of Goa, where the rest of the events, along with the master classes, will also be taking place. So in order to have a great collaboration, there are series of events which have been lined up for both national and international delegates. They include Creative Minds of Tomorrow, they include different film competitions, and they also include sessions where women will have a special representation here. And apart from that, there will be panel discussions where film greats like Amir Khan and others will be discussing their point of view. And apart from that, there will be a collaboration with the international production houses at the 56th edition, where they will be also imparting their set of knowledge and sharing it with the national production houses and others.
All right, Deepika, thank you so much for all those details, and we'll keep taking more as the day moves on. And moving on, in a major breakthrough against international cyber crime and human trafficking, the Gujarat Cyber Centre of Excellence has arrested a mastermind behind a cyber slavery network operating across Southeast Asian countries. The DD India speaks to Superintendent of Police Dr. Rajdeep Singh Jhala, who led the Cyber Centre team to make this arrest possible.
The Gujarat Cyber Center of Excellence has been able to arrest the kingpin mastermind of a cyber crime or cyber fraud nexus, Neil Purohit as he is known. He used to actually lure youngsters into job offers which were high paying job offers for different countries of Southeast Asia. When these youngsters used to arrive there, their passports were seized off, and after that they were forced to work into such jobs which used to scam other citizens. So we are joined in by one of the chief investigators, Superintendent of Police Rajdeep Singh Zala, who is joining us on this broadcast. Sir, thank you so much for talking to us. Your team has been able to nab this or arrest this mastermind. How did you investigate the entire case? Because this is a situation that we are seeing time and again, that many youngsters are going to Southeast Asia countries, and then after falling into this trap, they have to be repatriated back to India.
So the entire work of our Cyber Center of Excellence has been started since our Government of India, with the intervention of Ministry of External Affairs and Ministry of Home Affairs, with the help of Thailand and Myanmar Army and Police. We have brought our 4,000 packs back to India, relieved from cyber slavery. So we have studied most of the statement of Gujarat victims, and through that we were able to know that some person named Neil is the mastermind of this entire cyber slavery network. Apart from that, we got another two names. One was Hitesh Somaya and one was this Sonal Faldu. Neil was almost working like a ghost in cyber world. He never used to reveal his own identity. He never used Indian phones. He used to come to Gujarat on maybe 7th of October, so before 1 month. And through technical analysis, deep search, OSINT and IP analysis, our team has nabbed him while he was traveling to Malaysia from Ahmedabad airport.
Sir, what was his purpose for traveling to Malaysia, and also how much money did these people used to earn or procure from making these youngsters go for such scam jobs?
He was earning $2,000 to $4,500 per pax from the cyber crime center's bosses. So he was earning this amount, and he used his entire social media entities and crypto wallets to transfer this amount. Thailand and Myanmar module are almost about to finish. So many packs from Malaysia he had sent to Cambodia for double slavery. And now he wanted to shift his headquarters to Malaysia, and the project he had given the name Project India. During his phone forensic, we came to know that in one of chats someone is asking him to send 1,000 packs to Cambodia, and they were ready to pay him $4,500 per packs. And he replied, if I will not get better offer from anyone, then I will definitely provide you 1,000 packs. So this was the quantum of his reach and his crime network.
Sir, when we are talking about his crime network, officials and investigators from your team are saying that they had connections with agents in Pakistan as well as in China. How crucial do you think this network is?
This network is very much crucial from the national point of view and as well as international point of view. Because from his phone we got 126 sub-agents which were connected to him. Out of them 31 were Pakistanis, and 100 of numbers we got of Chinese bosses and their managers who are running this cybercrime syndicate. So this entire network is very much useful, because in this network so many sub-agents are involved, so many upper agents are involved. Some local people are also involved, some drivers are involved, some hoteliers are also involved. So it is such a huge network to understand the cybercrime, especially understand the cyber slavery.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us. So here, an entire nexus of cyber slavery, cyber fraud, human trafficking being unearthed by investigators here in Gujarat, definitely luring youngsters for phishing scams, for romance scams, for crypto scams, and much more. So definitely the investigation will reveal more details on what was the modus operandi of these people who used to send youngsters to Southeast Asian countries and were setting up up centers and planning to set up centers in other countries as well. With camera person Lakshman Rajput, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Gandhinagar, Gujarat.
All right, and still to come on DD India Newshour. Donald Trump signs the bill to release Epstein files. Also, Donald Trump vows to end Sudan's grinding civil war at the request of Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince. And Kosovo's ruling party fails to form government, pushing the country towards a snap election. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Kuran, and moving on. In the latest, US President Donald Trump has signed the bill demanding that the Justice Department release its files on the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The material could shed more light on the activities of Epstein, who socialized with Trump and other notable figures before his 2008 conviction on charges of soliciting a minor for prostitution. Now, although Trump's signature does not guarantee the files release, the bill contains exemptions and the investigation that Trump demanded into Democrats' ties to Epstein, which, as per sources, could give the department another reason to keep them confidential. Also, US President Donald Trump vowed to end Sudan's grinding civil war at the request of Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince, condemning tremendous atrocities in a conflict he's previously overlooked. Trump admitted that the devastating war between Sudan's army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces was not on my charts before Prince Mohammed bin Salman pushed him to get involved. But Trump said he would now work to stabilize the conflict with regional powers, notably including the United Arab Emirates.
I thought it was just something that was crazy and out of control. Sudan, and we're going to start working in Sudan. I didn't think that that was one that was going to be so easy to do, but we're going to start working.
Well, the United Nations has repeatedly called for greater global attention to the war, which has killed tens of thousands of people and displaced nearly 12 million since its outbreak in April 2023. Well, Sudan's Saudi-backed Sovereign Council, which is headed by Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, said it was ready to cooperate with the United States and Riyadh. In a statement, the Council thanked Washington and Riyadh for their continued efforts to stop Sudanese bloodshed. And Saudi and US officials touted billions of dollars in new investments and growing financial ties between the two countries on Wednesday, coinciding with Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's first visit to Washington since 2018. Now, sitting next to Trump in the White House, bin Salman on Tuesday had promised to increase his country's U.S. investment to $1 trillion from a $600 billion pledge he made when Trump visited Saudi Arabia in May. Now, Trump and bin Salman applauded $270 billion in agreements and sales signed between dozens of companies at the Kennedy Center conference, including planned purchases of 600,000 NVIDIA AI chips by Humane, a government-backed Saudi AI firm. The Humane and Elon Musk's AI will also jointly develop data centers in Saudi Arabia, including a 500 megawatt facility. Separately, MP Materials said it would build a rare earths refinery in Saudi Arabia with the U.S. Department of Defense and Saudi Arabian state-owned mining company Ma'aden to expand Middle Eastern processing of the critical minerals. Oil giant Saudi Aramco also said it has signed 17 memoranda of understanding and agreements with major U.S. companies carrying a potential value of more than $30 billion. And in May, during Trump's 4-day Middle East trip, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia announced billions of dollars in investments in both the countries that included defense and AI deals. Several of those deals were finalized this week. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is set to meet top United States military officials in Kyiv on Thursday, including Army Secretary Daniel Driscoll and Chief of Staff General Randy George, on a fact-finding mission to revive peace efforts in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, now over 3.5 years old. The high-stakes talks follow Zelensky's fruitless Turkey visit and coincides with Russia's massive overnight strikes in Ternopil's apartment blocks that spiked toxic chlorine levels sixfold, while blackouts gripped western regions ahead of winter. United Nations officials decry the terror as Moscow advances slowly onto the front. And United States Army Secretary Daniel Driscoll and Army Chief of Staff General Randy George met senior Ukrainian officials in Kyiv on Wednesday. The United States Embassy described the visit as a fact-finding mission. Defense Minister Denis Shamal and Commander-in-Chief General Alexander Syrsky briefed the delegation on Russian troop build-ups, ongoing offensives and missile attacks on civilian areas. Discussions focused on strengthening Ukraine's air defenses, long-range strike capabilities, unmanned systems and personnel training. Meanwhile, as per sources, the United States has signaled Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that Ukraine must accept an American-drafted peace framework requiring Kyiv to permanently cede Crimea and all Russian-occupied territories, reduce its armed forces from over 900,000 to 400,000 personnel, and relinquish all long-range weapons. The proposal reportedly contains no explicit Russian concessions in return. And moving on, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has said that ongoing talks to provide long-range weaponry to Ukraine would eventually lead to an agreement, now including some production in the country, but no details would be communicated. Also, the Russian forces in the last weeks have been making gradual advances along parts of the front line and stepping up missile and drone attacks on Ukrainian cities and energy infrastructure as Kyiv's Western allies look for new ways to sustain weapons and ammunition supplies.
Over
the past few months, we have been working intensively with the Ukrainian government to implement projects for long-range fire, as we call it technically. The Ukrainian army is being equipped with such weapon systems. We have agreed not to discuss the details publicly anymore, as we believe that there must be a certain degree of uncertainty on the Russian side as to the extent of our military support. We are doing everything we can to equip the Ukrainian army with weapon systems that have the necessary range, and this will increase in the coming weeks and months, if necessary, to the point where such weapon systems will also be produced in Ukraine itself.
Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin called for a national task force to coordinate on Russia's work on homegrown generative artificial intelligence models, which he said were vital to preserving Russian sovereignty. While Russia lags the United States and China in AI, two large language models, GigaChat and Yandex GPT, have been developed by the country's main AI-focused companies, Sberbank and Yandex. Putin said that AI-powered technologies' contributions to Russia's gross domestic product should exceed $136.57 billion by the year 2030. He called for development of a national AI implementation plan, in addition to a task force, and urged state institutions and companies to make increasing use of AI.
We cannot allow critical dependence on foreign systems. For Russia, this is a matter of state, technological, and I would say value sovereignty. Therefore, our country must possess a full range of its own technologies and products in the field of generative artificial intelligence. First and foremost, these are national language models, both fundamental and small for specific industries. The entire spectrum of such models must be trained and fully controlled by Russian specialists at all stages, including the verification of the final product.
Well, the World Health Organization still needs $1 billion to cover its 2026 to 27 budget as it scrambles to shore up its finances after the United States, the agency's top donor, severed ties in January. Moving on, U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to halt its funding to the Geneva-based body upon returning to office forced it to scale back its originally approved budget by around 20% from $5.3 billion to $4.2 billion in May. Faced with a decline in international aid, thousands of health facilities in humanitarian settings have had to cut services or suspend operations. As a result, the organization has had to prioritize those most in need of assistance in the toughest places. And some updates on South Korea ferry mishap now. A South Korean passenger ferry that ran aground was towed to a port on Thursday. After all, 267 people on board were rescued. Authorities suspect human error may be to blame for the incident. South Korea's Coast Guard is investigating the captain, first officer and an Indonesian crew member of the ferry for negligence. Authorities will examine whether the ship was unable to change course in time in the narrow channels in the area of the southwestern tip of the Korean peninsula. The incident happened when the ship was sailing from the country's southern island of Jeju to the southwestern porty city of Mokpo. The incident rekindled memories of a 2014 ferry sinking that killed more than 300 people in South Korea's worst maritime disaster. And Kosovo Prime Minister Albin Kurti's ruling party failed to secure enough parliamentary votes to form a government pushing the country towards a snap election. Now, Vite Vendosje came first in an inclusive election in February but has failed to form a government so far. Opposition parties have also not taken the reins, saying they would rather go to the polls than form a government. Months of political deadlock in the small Balkan country have contributed to a lack of reforms, the stalling of infrastructure projects and the freezing of some European Union and World Bank funding, and have also hindered Kosovo's aspirations of EU membership. According to the constitution, President Vjosa Osmani will now set an election date in the coming days. And moving on, power cuts in Cuba show no sign of improvement as traditional suppliers, including Venezuela and Mexico, have slashed shipments of much-needed fuel to generate electricity. Cuba's imports of crude and fuel from Venezuela have declined 15%, with supplies of fuel oil or for power generation particularly hit by the reduction. Cuba's total fuel imports from all sources have dropped by 38%, falling from 70,300 barrels per day last year to about 43,400 this year. Cuba attributes worsening power outages to fuel shortages, aging infrastructure and Hurricane Melissa damage. U.S. sanctions and a deep economic crisis have for years made it impossible for the government to buy enough fuel, forcing a growing dependence on allies. Almost 800 megawatts of power generation is currently shut down due to lack of fuel and petroleum-based lubricants. Power outages in Cuba are worsening, with Havana facing up to 9 hours and natural areas 2 to 4 hours daily. And the National Human Rights Commission in Nepal has urged all not to make public speeches to jeopardize peace and security. Issuing a press statement, NHRC urged all sides to be cautious on the free expression in relation to national security and peace. NHRC has informed that it monitored the arrest of campaigner Durga Prasen and garnered information from the Kathmandu District Police Range, Bhadrakali campaigner Prasen and related police officials. Durga Prasad was arrested from his residence in Bhaktapur for making statements that could cause violence and public disorder. Prasai had been released earlier by the court after his arrest following the violent protest in Tinkun on 28th March 2025, which killed 2 and injured 45. Recently had been planning another movement with demands such as loan waivers and support for pro-monarchy activities on the 23rd of November. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world today. Well, Germany has returned 12 cultural artifacts to Ethiopia in a ceremony at Addis Ababa University in a move both countries described as strengthening cultural ties. The items, which include shields, crowns and paintings reflecting Ethiopian royal traditions, were brought to Germany in the 1920s by the Fritz Weiss, a German diplomat who served in Ethiopia. From the model of the Grand Budapest Hotel to the puppets from Fantastic Mr. Fox, a new exhibition opening in London on Friday showcases the visual pastel-colored worlds of US filmmaker Wes Anderson. Held at the Design Museum, Wes Anderson, the archives bring together over 700 items from film spanning over the director's 30-year career. And on to some business news now. Relief rally swept across Asian markets and lifted stocks in early trading on Thursday as investors cheered Nvidia's market-topping earnings, while the dollar rose as traders braced for the release of delayed jobs cuts. Stocks on Wall Street had snapped a 4-day losing streak on Wednesday before the earnings release. All three major indexes rebounded from the sell-off as the world's most valuable companies' earnings report tempered the AI valuation fears that had triggered the rout. The US dollar index, which tracks the greenback strength against a basket of 6 major peers, advanced 0.1% to 100.17, hovering close to a 2-week high. The yield on benchmark 10-year Treasury notes rose to 4.14% compared with its US close of 4.13% on Wednesday. Well, Meta announced on Thursday that all Australians under 16 will be removed from Facebook, Instagram and Threads starting on December 4th, ahead of new traditional laws taking effect on December 10th that require social media platforms to block underage users or face major fines. Meta said it has begun alerting users aged 13 to 15 that their accounts will soon be inaccessible and will only be restored when they turn 16. Around 500,000 accounts fall in this age group. Teens flagged incorrectly can verify the age through a video selfie or official ID. Meta criticized the rules as vague and unnecessary, arguing that cutting teens off from online communities is not the solution. Australia's tough approach is drawing global attention, though experts warn enforcement may prove difficult. And in a significant move to unlock India's offshore energy resources, Oil India Limited and Total Energies signed a technology service agreement in New Delhi on Wednesday. The partnership aims to enhance exploration in deep and ultra-deep water basins, aligning with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision for a self-reliant energy ecosystem under the Viksit Bharat initiative. Oil India will leverage Total Engineers' expertise for gas appraisal in the Andaman Basin and exploration in Mahanadi and Krishna Godavari basins, including ongoing OALP rounds. The agreement, witnessed by senior officials, marks a step towards bolstering India's energy security and frontier basin development. And some global weather updates now. A cold snap brought snow and ice to parts of the UK on Wednesday as the country's meteorological office issued more weather warnings. Snow covered the ground in parts of Scotland, while workers in North Wales braved the cold temperatures on a path over snow-covered hills. Flurries of snow could be seen around wind turbines in Northern Ireland. In the UK Met Office issued yellow warnings for snow and ice in parts of England and all of Northern Ireland, with an amber snow warning for Northern England on Thursday. And on Wednesday, Chilean authorities recovered the bodies of 5 tourists killed in a snowstorm at Torres del Paine National Park. The victims, 2 Germans, 2 Mexicans and a British national, got lost near Los Perros camp in the park during a severe blizzard, with whiteout conditions and winds comparable to the Category 3 hurricane. Chilean Air Force helicopters airlifted the bodies from the remote location. The remains were transported to the Legal Medical Service headquarters in Puerto Natales for identification. Rescue teams also evacuated stranded tourists from Dixon Camp as conditions remained hazardous. And a volcano on Indonesia's main island of Java erupted on Wednesday, throwing ash and gas kilometers into the sky. Country's volcanology agency raised the alert status to its highest level. The National Disaster Agency said the plume of ash had risen as far as 13 kilometers into the air. It added that at least 300 villagers living near the volcano have been evacuated to 2 temporary shelters, and there were no immediate report of casualties. The Geological Agency also said that seismic activity at Mount Semeru remained high. Semeru is one of Indonesia's nearly 130 active volcanoes, and its eruption in 2021 killed more than 50 people and damaged more than 5,000 homes, forcing almost 10,000 people to seek refuge. While you're watching DD India News, our time now for some sports news. Indian shooters continue their impressive performance, securing more medals at the 25th Deaflympics in Tokyo, Japan today. The duo of Abhinav Deshwal and Prashant Dhumal clinched gold in the 10-meter air pistol mixing event by defeating Yaju Kao and Mingju Su of Chinese Taipei 16-6 in the final. Meanwhile, Kushagra Singh Rajawat won bronze in the 50-meter rifle prone competition. With the win, India's medal tally in shooting has climbed to 11 so far. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.